Welcome to GovCon Clarity with Dr. Lori Smith, where strategies replace guesswork and readiness replace wishful thinking. With over 4 decades inside government systems, Dr. Lori breaks down what agencies actually evaluate: capacity, compliance, and credibility. If you're ready to compete at the federal level, not just apply, this is where clarity begins.
If you've been told to go get the money, chase the contract, or just scale, but something in you knows you're not actually set up to hold what you're reaching for, this podcast is for you. Because revenue doesn't fix a shaky foundation, it exposes it. Let's talk about what it really takes to be ready. Welcome to GovCon Clarity, and I'm Dr. Lori Smith. And this is the space where we talk about what it actually takes for women and veteran entrepreneurs to build businesses that are not only fundable and contract ready, but sustainable. In this first episode, I'm going to lay out what this show is, why I'm coming back now, and the pattern I've seen repeatedly. Founders being pushed toward money and contracts before they have the systems and structure to hold either. And I'm going to introduce a concept that shapes everything we'll do here: the readiness gap. Let's start with the question, why am I coming back now? Here's the fact. My work has continued to deepen around women and veteran entrepreneurs, especially those navigating high responsibility environments like federal contracting, growth stage operations, or leadership under pressure. And what has shifted for me is how I define support. I'm not interested in motivating people into overwork. I'm not interested in pushing someone into a contract, a launch, or a revenue milestone if their infrastructure or their internal capacity isn't there yet. I've watched too many founders burn out right after a win. I've watched strong leaders blame themselves for gaps that weren't actually structural. And I've learned that readiness is built, not wished into existence. So I'm back because the conversation needs to mature. We don't just need ambition, we need alignment. We don't just need access, we need capacity. And we don't just need contracts, we need operations, governance, and well-being that can sustain what we're building. So here's the pattern I've seen over and over again, especially for founders who are women, veteran, or both. People get pushed toward money and contracts before they have the system and structure to hold either. And I want to say this plainly. The pressure is real. You need revenue. You need proof. You need a contract vehicle. You need to scale. But what often gets skipped is the unglamorous foundation: operational clarity. Who does what? How work actually moves? What's repeatable? Governance and decision structure. How you decide, document, manage risks, stay compliant. Capacity, the human capacity, energy, boundaries, leadership stability, recovery, and support. Without those, the win can become a stress test you weren't built to pass. Not because you are incapable, but because the business wasn't structured to hold the weight you just added to it. A contract doesn't create structure. Funding doesn't create structure. Growth doesn't create structure. Structure creates the ability to receive those things without breaking. This brings me to the core concept for this podcast, the readiness gap. I define the readiness gap as the space between your vision and your actual operational, governance, and emotional capacity. Let's break that down in plain language. Operational capacity is what your business can actually execute. Do you have systems that are real, not just ideas? How do you deliver consistently? How do you track work? How do you manage money, time, and priorities? If your business depends on you remembering everything, doing everything, and rescuing everything, that's not readiness. That's fragility. Governance capacity is how your business makes decisions and manages responsibility. Governance isn't just for big corporations. Governance is how you handle roles and accountability, policies and compliance. documentation and oversight, risk and ethics, and especially in federal work, governance is not optional. It's part of doing business. Now, emotional capacity is what idea can unraveling. But we're not pretending the human part doesn't exist. Emotional capacity shows up in how you respond to pressure, how you hold boundaries, how you recover, and whether leadership is sustainable in your body and mind. Because if your nervous system is constantly in emergency mode, you're going to build emergency systems and call it normal. The readiness gap isn't a character flaw. It's not you're not good enough. It's a measurable mismatch between what you're reaching for and what's currently built to support it. And the point of this show is to help you close that gap without shame, without hype, and without sacrificing yourself to prove you're serious. I also want to explain how my work is structured because it's not random. It's an ecosystem with two engines working together, Archaeologent and Soar Narcisse Empowerment. They differ by design and support different aspects of readiness. Archaeologent focuses on economic readiness, the strategy and structure required to pursue growth responsibly. That includes strategy and positioning, government contracting in plain language, systems and structures that support delivery, and operational clarity that enables scaling. Now, Soar Narcisse Empowerment focuses on empowerment and sustainability because you can't build a stable enterprise on burnout. That includes rest as a leadership practice, well-being as a sustainability strategy, leadership development that doesn't require self-abandonment, and honest conversations about leading while healing. Here's the point. Economic readiness without sustainability becomes extraction. Sustainability without economic readiness can become stagnation. The goal is integration, building a business that can win and a leader who can remain whole. Let me be direct about who this podcast is really for. This is for women founders, veteran entrepreneurs, mission-driven leaders, and anyone building a business where the stakes are real, financial, emotional, and operational. And it's specifically for people who are tired of being told that the only thing that matters is get the money. This is not just another GovCon 101 show, and it's not generic entrepreneurship content where everything is either hustle or vibes. We're going to talk about federal strategy, yes, but we're also going to talk about the infrastructure and internal capacity required to lead responsibly. Now, if you want shortcuts, this might frustrate you. If you want clarity, structure, and honesty, you're in the right place. I'm going to read a set of statements. For each one, give yourself a score. 0 equal not true, yet 1 equals sometimes true and in progress, and 2 is consistently true. You can do this in your head or on paper, right? First section is operational readiness. The first statement, we have a clear offer and we can explain it in one sentence. 2, work is tracked in a consistent place, not just in someone's head. 3, we have a repeatable delivery process for our core services. Number 4, we can estimate time and capacity with reasonable accuracy. If I'm unavailable for a week during delivery doesn't fall apart, that was number 5. Add that up and that's your operational readiness score. Section 2 is governance readiness. First statement, decisions and responsibilities are clear. Who approves what? Who owns what? Number 2, we document key decision processes and client requirements. Number 3, we have basic policies or standards we actually follow, quality, security, compliance as applicable. Number 4, we understand our risk points and we have a plan to reduce them. And number 5, we can demonstrate accountability to a client or partner. Add that up and that's your governance readiness score. And the last section is emotional and leadership readiness. First statement, I can rest without panic or guilt most of the time. Number 2, I make decisions without waiting for a crisis. Number 3, my leadership doesn't depend on adrenaline. Number 4, I have support, people, practices, or structures when things get hard. And 5, I can wholly win without immediately bracing for collapse. Add that up, and that's your emotional readiness score. Interpreting your score, here's a simple way to interpret what you just saw. 0 to 10 equals your foundation needs attention before you add pressure. Start with stabilization. 11 through 20 total equals you have pieces in place, but your readiness is inconsistent. Focus on strengthening the weakest category first. And 21 to 30 equals you're building real readiness. Your next step is refinement. Tighten systems, clarify governance, protect sustainability, and here's the key: don't judge your score, use it. The purpose is not to prove you're ready. The purpose is to identify what needs to be built so that you can pursue an opportunity without breaking. So now what I want you to do is to just take one breath. Ask yourself, which category was lowest? Operational, governance, or emotional capacity? What is one change, one small structural decision you can make this week to close that gap? Not 10 changes, one. And I'll close with this. Your vision deserves a structure that can hold it. And you deserve to lead without sacrificing yourself to prove you're serious. If this episode gave you language for something you felt but couldn't name, share it with a woman founder or veteran entrepreneur who's building under pressure. Let's stay connected. You can find me at ackelegend.com or soaringrseeds.com. And if you know a woman founder or veteran entrepreneur who's building something serious, share this episode with them. In the next episode, we're going to get practical. Why most small businesses aren't ready for federal contracts, even if they think they are. In plain language, with real context and no fluff. I'm Dr. Lori Smith, and this is GovCon Clarity. Until next time.